Tongone wa hiye nyola ke la da ko to po municipal chief mame ne nye Moses fe ahiye la ne o abile ko ne to no shikomi shenyo ko hawo na na gno oba woni kasemo no ake isamu ke ha Ramadan. Imam salamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Sheikh do wona ochile afoye ko ni ochinele akonta abu e wasumo ko to ameshikomi shenyo ko hawo bi ni sanu wo ko nwe keji wona no ni sanu wo fe boni atwara biye nke je date akonta bu eje ni ba wa wo monni shake wona so mo le ru'yatikum wa aftiru li ru'yatikum sani wona ru'yatikum wona nyu ake nyu ni wo fe oba na lo Sheikh kamo ono ko na ga no bona fi ni ngene ni kasemo wonye ni oyano
ije mo ha Allah adebo efe anuncho drolo ke mobo na lo manche kujumo gbile no lepe ji mo ni woja le non pe ingo wo bio yili ke bo mo efe ke jo ombi Allah ake kan ne kle ke jo mo idromo ke mo na machine ke bagbalo Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam ke me fe ni wale na she Islam ni mene bine Islam e ba she mo bi ombi Allah ake kan ne kudo kenye Islam tempo no hinu woto fan ye ewo bo enje hinu wo ye mu hu ye e ha wo shifi mo enje keji ba agbe wo hu egbe wo bi nu ncho pepa ese yan gbe Islam ejele ngam ya assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh no jingamo ninke nga tuibulo efen e wo ye Ghana manemi mebe jibe ni abaji ma hileshi min so mati Ghana manemi eja keje ta flache manse bi ano woko ni inke hadith ku ni sahih muslimi baba dani maba mene woni kasimon ifi akeye oflo nyono bineji ho bineji nyuma yo oflo nyono neji Saturday 10th February 2024 na kan bile Rajab nyon enagbi nyuma enyoke ne hu 29 days wona kan ho gbeke akwake abana Shaban lo shinakan ho gbeke ana Shaban yon shin hogba gbeke na shin be mi ni oflo nyon enagbi nyuma ke ekomi ni ananyon chelie ene hewo ni ananyon chelie na kan hogba gbeke enoje chele moju ni jigbi ni nyuma ke enyo ye oflo nyon no akane lake na kan gbile jigbi klenklen ye Shaban nyomi ye Ghana manemi ene wokobu akonta ke jena kan gbile ke bashi mene soane ni wo wio mene gbiniji pa anyo yo chokrikri nyon be Shaban nyon enagbi nyomai enyo ke ipa ene chonwa ke ye Ghana ju ni ba ne keji nyomba asmo we walami ni ochogbile nyon enagbi nyomake ekomi juni ba na egbeke aba kwe Ghana manemi yake abana nyoncheli elu keji ana nyoncheli ebe enoje chelimo jufo biniji nyumake enyo ye ochokrikri nyono abaje mahile shishi shikeji ju egbeke ni ana be nuele jufo aba kanile ake Shaban enagbi nyumai eten keke enoje chelimo sho ni ochokrikri nyon enagbi nyumake eten keke ajima hinle shishi nokubaka aka woni benu wo wi one Saudi ke amenagbi nyumai enyoke pawo meko mehu a calendar no ameke ngmene no wo wi one amena 28 days bi nyumai enyoke pa nyo kene bi ewo minhi wo Ghana ke ene tafrache Saudi calendar lo amegbejiano to na mehi acho no ake umukura Islamic calendar manyama chon ke hie umukura Islamic calendar manyama chon ake tete poke we wala me no gbokwe 100 years from mene ekwe Ramadan eba start ne can be e wo no jino nyete me baba we nyekwe ninyeko ake 11th March shin ananyon chile dani ahioma to boda alaja Ahmed Selim ke wo gbalo ke nyehi ama Kenya na nyon chile nyekenya ma ahile aba na agbe Kenya na nyon chile ke ya bala ke nyon chile nam wahanye nye ya hodasi ake Shaban enagi nyumete agbene minso no basahi Muslim hadith number 1087 kaselo ya kumina achola ke kure radiala anhu leji moni ikake omu fadli etun ebi neji fadli ne Haris biyo jile nile etun ebina achola ke fadli kete Sham neji Syria ete Muawiya ango yesane koyi ewo be me ni jeme yo ni ibalake aboti Ramadan nyome obe me ni ekuise ke jejeme ni iba Medina Ibn Abbas neji Abdullah ibn Abbas radiyallahu anhu ebi fadlake maybe nyena Ramadan nyone ke o wona le so ha agbeke ka ke so agbeke achon so gbeke ke ha so na kan jibo na achon ya Arabic me ka ke so ha agbeke achon ake so gbeke ke ha so ha ewo fadli ke o wo wona le na kan gbile egbeke ni wo jema ahinle shishin ni Abdullah ibn Abbas bilake bodenche unanyonchele elu eke inanyonchele medenche ni mofemo hingma ni Muawiya po hingma eko ni Abdullah ibn Abbas ke shinwo wonale ho gbeke keke ho gbeke chon so ha gbeke ke ha ho wo wonale ho gbeke ni woji wo ma hele shishin wo ba kan he wo fi ka shi wo ba na gbi nyuman etin alo wo ba na shawal nyonchele Njemen fadli bilake Muawiya mefen hima eko ewo ene fa ke ha bwa ke odase ninu hiwo be mi ni woji wo ma hinle shin nyeke ba tuni nakan nyeke nye ma hinle ba ba na agbelo ni Abdullah ibn Abbas ekela ke je nakanji boni gbalo Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam echonwo ewo individual site na ye man no heno yo lokupa no heno yo ehihia na akpa. We take this opportunity to welcome you to another edition of this program. We are starting on the tone of from the angle of when are we starting the fasting in Ghana. And I indicated that yes, in Ghana on Saturday 10 February 2024, that was the 29th day of Rajab. That evening, people went out in search of the crescent, the moon, for Shawwal. But unfortunately, on that Saturday, 10 February 2024, nobody, nowhere, there is no reported sighting anywhere in Ghana that anyone saw the moon of Shaban. So what happened was that Sunday, 11th February 2024 was counted as the 30th day of Rajab. On that evening, Sunday, 11th February 2024, the crescent was sighted. So Monday, 12th February 2024 was counted as the first day of the month of Shawwal. In view of that, if you calculate from Monday 12th February 2024 till today, which is the 8th day of March 2024, it means Shawwal, based on the local sighting in Ghana, is 26 days. What it also means is that Monday, contrary to the view that people are holding, that on the 11th they are starting fasting. Is that what the prophet said? The prophet said we should fast when we see the moon, and we should bring our fasting to an end when we see the moon. If it is difficult for us to sight the moon, we should be sure, we should be aware, we should be certain that Shaban has clocked 30 days. So in view of that, and based on a local sighting in Ghana, Monday 11th March 2024, that evening, we'll go out in search of the crescent. If it is sighted anywhere in Ghana, it means Tuesday 12th March 2024 will become the first day of Ramadan in Ghana. If it is not sighted on the evening of Monday 11th March 2024, then Tuesday 12th March will be counted as the 30th day of Shaban, and the fasting will automatically start on Wednesday 13th March 2024. So I said, but people will say, but Saudi, as we speak today, Today is the 27th day of Shaban in Saudi. If you look at some apps, today is 28. I even know a community here in Ghana where today, as we speak, is the 28th day of Shaban for them. So as far as they are concerned, they will never go beyond Sunday. So for them, it is automatic that Monday they are starting their fasting. That is up to them. The basis of that assumption is up to them. But what we should know is that Saudi Arabia uses what is known as the Umukura calendar. And for the Umukura calendar, I can even sit here and tell you that if we are fortunate in life to live for the next 100 years, this is when the Umukura calendar will start as the first day of Ramadan. So that is the system Saudi Arabia uses. What we should know is that we have to do our local sighting whether we have seen it or not. And I made reference to a hadith in Sahih Muslim, hadith number 1087, where Kurayb, may Allah be pleased with him, said, Fadl, that is the daughter of Haris, sent her son Fadl to Sham, that is Syria, to Muawiyah. After he had done whatever he had to do there, he returned back to Medina. When so he was in Syria when Ramadan commenced in Syria. When he came back to Medina, Abdullah ibn Abbas, may Allah be pleased with him, and his father asked him, when did Ramadan commence in Syria? Then he said, we saw the crescent on Friday night. And if they talk about Friday night, they are talking about the night preceding Friday. So that is the Thursday evening for the Friday. That was when Fadlu and the people in Sham, Syria, saw the crescent. And then Abdullah ibn Abbas asked him, did you see it yourself? He said, yes, I saw it. And the people also saw it. And we fasted. And so was Muawiyah. Then Abdullah ibn Abbas said, but we saw it on Friday, we saw it on Saturday night. That is the night preceding Saturday. That is Friday evening for Saturday. That was when we saw it. And we started our fasting. So we'll continue until we fast for 30 days or until we see the crescent for Shawwal. Then Fadlu asked him, so was the fasting of Muawiyah and all the people not sufficient grounds for you to end your fasting? He said, no, that was not what the prophet taught us. So we'll continue to fast until we get 30 days or until we sight the crescent for Shawwal. So when it comes to issues about international sighting and so on, we just need to be very, very careful. Sometimes people say, but Saudi said they have seen it. Let me tell you one plain truth. The truth is that Saudi Arabia is 3 hours ahead of Ghana. So if truly Saudi Arabia is able to see the moon, then 3 hours later, it should be bigger in Ghana for us to see it. But if Saudi said they have seen it, and even 3 hours later, we look at our sunrise, the time the moon will set and so on, and it is never seen in Ghana, then it's questionable. As for this, any elementary student of geography will tell you that if truly Saudi Arabia has seen it and 3 hours later it is not sighted in Ghana, then it's a bit questionable.
Sheikh Basu no ya me 1 minute ko na agbono oba minute topic no minute gbeja na ato nigbe oba kwe ngbe radio tu oba bo nigbo ni ofata advisory board bi ahe no oba na akeko wo television ba fo nekegbe lo radio ba fo nekegbe ake neke bi na ka site ni ke wo yo da se ake nye ba television no nyeke fo shin be wole ake oba hima ya je wo fin oba na sin nyeji meni nye to gbeja no ke meni ba na ya ba she national chief mamde no share man aga advisory board member minute gbeje nyeto afine ke ha sighting of the moon na ba ko
if ya fata yitie komenema wie he ake ke ibanyonchele na moke han ma hele shije je ni sana ahia ha mekoma ake meneme ya akwe na mbabo amane eji minke bofen woni chuma ake wofen wo ba agbe wo hwan ni wo kwe ewo juni ba ne keshe ba afi himbe etwa nyuma ke enumu ni magri ba she wo fen wo ba yipo enu no wo pe atatu emi ake wo ba nalo keji ona pupa no henu yo imam panani yo je obawo ituinu ko wo lehun ituinu agbene ke regional imam yeje lehun ibabola amane ke ibola amane ibaba hilal committee biango ni bi mu eni yo ni sana bibu je ka intention nke inanyonchele no ke ka Abdur Rashid ke inanyonchele wo be ejipo aye ni bi mu na ba bibu ke onyoji na mebi una negbe onaye tomohimbe etwa enye hijeme dande ilaji okumu na me krokume ni fato enana uyohuda so chenyu woke gba lo dasi yake lelo na lo enemeji ni bi mu na ba bibu ka bibu no ji fen na Hilal committee de abawo national chief imam toino ka wo national chief imam toino ake lefe musins fen yo Ghana ne wo hienye lo ka agbene abache hie lo akpe neji press conference e wo juni ba na ele keji nyumba asomo abafi agbene adafitwa ni chumo ekume hu be mini afi amba feel life in like GTV be come it depend on time na ke feel press conference shin like kecha hu by 10 o'clock ka menya me feel live then by 10 o'clock press conference ni afi ameko afonjala epie be na TV nke ba agbene sharebutu TV Facebook ke ni be na me fe oba anya oba je wo keke atwa fen he adafi ake wo jufo aje shishin alo anako ewo sho aje shishi ke wonto wona bonu ashin ejimi nke bo fen woni chuma ke wata wonyonchile sara aka wonshu ha laja meselim kuni ke wake analo anako wo fen sane wota
yo shekani wabuti wongone ni kasimoni ake wo ye hisamo mi lulu ni hisamo no an wo yake libi ne fen ke fata hisamo yi o ba so ko ni onyino vi ke buti hisamo ke ha mwaile chitamo ni jenyo patu
yo wonyi se o chile ni wo pe wo kase ni bi ba fi nyuma ke enyo ni isaake woyosi ye ke ha wo hisamo ke ha Ramadan mimbotemu mene no ni nyuma ke eten no wo ke fata heji wote me kuma wana ke wosoli ye biami ni jamale wake jamaa beshna moko shisanu wole yake ka bote Ramadan mi isaake wosoli ye biami ni isaake wake jamaa asoli obi fio ni kan wo hin dani aba bote mi ne kan be na ji be ni isaake wo bowo emodin ni wosoli ye biami ni wake jamaa ho asoli bona afi ni ka bote mi ifi melo ihawo wote me kumehwe nafila wofi ya Ramadan mi no fen no nyumwa afi kulo eti ohakobo kofi ye oye jo motamo noko ni nyumwa afi ile oti ihabo ye nyonko klomi tamoboni no ni nyumwa afi ile oti ihabo ye Ramadan mi kofi kumi ye jo moton moko nefi ni bi ni nyumwa afi ile oti ihale ye nyonko kloma mi shi nyumai pawo ewo nafila ne we babao ni wofio balo Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam chowake moni dagbie ifio raka nyuma ke nyon nyumbo ma shinle he ihale ye aljanna ne ken raka nyuma ke nyon ne mebi ake fio afio enyo dani asolio fajr lo subhi solimo afio ejwe dana asolio zuru solimo ona epa afio enyo keji asole zuru solimo ata ona panyo afio enyo keji asole magrib solimo ata ona nyuma ni afio enyo keji asole isha solimo ata ona nyuma ke enyo wote meni wo fi nyeha wo kasia ni wo bo afimo dani wo boti Ramadan eja ke wo boti Ramadan ni wo fi ni wo ye jomo tamu mukuni ifi no ni nyumbo ifi le farad ihale ye nyonko klomi menwa ele na fila kekene wo ko kase ne kan bia me ni wo fi iba fi sano agbene no kumeni nke ba fata ehunji Qiyamul Layl ona ton boni Sheikh Nasiruddin Albani rahimahullah ke me kroku me gbala me chon gbeke sole won ko sole otiniji ishai ni nyumbo ifi le otike hawo tarawi ifatahi agbene ya kashin ninteshi manken ninteshi ninfi nafila inehu ifatahe jomo yemi anokwale Allah oke o Quran mi ake wa minan layli fatajahad bihi nafilatan nyumoke nyabo amode nkoni gbeke ni jiye mo mi nyeshin ape ne kekpe shi ne ni nyeba shi ne eke asa an yab'athaka rabbuka makama mahmuda kenya shi ne kekpe ne kenya nuncho nyumbo asmu iba wele nye nogojo kedamo heko iba hanye gbenako no ha gbalo Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam eke wake ye solimoni nyumbo efile oti iha wose solimoni minchi fifenji manke peshin ni jigbeke peshin onake bo muslime ke uye ni usolio kiyam leilne lo tahajjud bon wochole ton boni Imam Shafi rahimahullah ewiye eke nakan gbeke peshin itamo gen ni achen moni chen gen ne ehesa ke gen chemo ke chen gen moni ke gen chweno ake itawole ake itagete iyani nale nakan pepepe ji tahajjud lo kiyamu leil ke wosole ke muslim kuye ni sani ifi ni ifi itamota flache jata ni attain le lo adro ye paper no ka draw jata ye paper no ken agbe ken na nyoji papo gbe ken bi ekume na me wa denje paper apo ko ka we le ne nje wa kuta paper lo ikba we da keke la jon pa e no ifi bodo ke gbala shikume no iba chele mi jata na attain ye paper no lo adro ye wolo no ibe no kunu ni fio na kanji muslim ni ye ni iwo to mo boni wo ni kejegbe keke awo etishi ni iba shipe na kanji ne ken gbomone boni eyole hewo wo kase ne ke bia mene ni ishe oba fi bi edwe ke mo gbe eten ni wo ba boti mene wo fi ko bona fi ni ke oboti Ramadan mi woni wo fi babawo. So the last time we looked at 12 things that we have to do by way of preparation. Today we have added that yes, Ramadan requires that we pray when the time is due, and of course we pray in congregation. For some of us, we are not fond of doing that, so this is the time for us to try and pray at the appointed time and also pray in congregation, so that when the month of Ramadan arrives, we can continue with that practice. Then I also went on to as the 14th preparation to add that if we are not in the habit of offering the supererogatory prayers, then this is the time for us to revive that sunnah, so that when we enter the month of Ramadan, we'll be able to do it. Because during the month of Ramadan, if you do an optional thing, something that Allah has made it optional for you, not obligatory, you get the reward of someone who has undertaken an obligatory act in another month. And if you do or you undertake an obligatory act, you get the reward of someone who has carried out 70 obligatory acts in another month. So that is also, I also mentioned the 12 rakahs that Rasulullah said if we perform every day, inshallah, Allah is going to build a mansion for us in Al-Jannah, in paradise. I said, when do we perform those 12 rakahs? We perform 2 before the Subhi or the Fajr prayer. You perform 4 before the Zuhur prayer. That brings the total to 6. You perform 2 after the Zuhur prayer. That brings the total to 8. Then you also perform 2 after the Maghrib prayer. That brings the total to 10. And you perform 2 after the Isha prayer. So if you can't do anything at all, this was one of the sunnah, the practices of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which he taught his companions. So you can do that and you get the reward. Of course, if there is time, you can add to this, because there are other prayers too that when you do, you get the reward. Then I went to the 15th point, where I said that we should start praying at night. That is the tahajjud or the qiyam, the vigil prayer. Then I mentioned that Allah tells us in Quran chapter 17 verse 79 that, and pray in the small watches of the morning. It will be an additional prayer of spiritual profit for you. So your Lord will raise thee to a station of praise and glory. And I went on to say that, like Imam Shafi rahimahullah said, a Muslim who prays Qiyamul Layl or Tahajjud is like, you see, an expert who knows how to use the arrow. If he targets you, he doesn't miss his target. That is the one who prays the Tahajjud or the Qiyam. And I went on to say that if you are not in the habit of performing Qiyamul Layl, you are just like a lion that has been drawn on a sheet of paper. If you give it to a child that is 6 months, he can even tear that paper into pieces, because the lion that is drawn on a piece of paper is lifeless. It is powerless. It can't do anything. That is how we reduce ourselves to, if we don't get the time to wake up at night and communicate with our Creator through prayers. The other thing, that is the 16th point I want to raise by way of preparation, is to facilitate the realization of the utmost goal of fasting. Why do we fast? And I'm sure, inshallah, if we are live next week, I'll go to some of the lessons or the wisdom behind the fasting. But Allah tells us in the Quran that Ya ayyuhallazina amanu kutiba alaykum siyam kama kutiba alal ladzina min qablikum la'allakum tattaqun, that O you who believe, fasting is prescribed for you as it was prescribed for those before you, that you may learn self-restraint. So the essence of fasting is that you acquire taqwa. What is taqwa? Inshallah, if we are alive, we'll go through that in a subsequent presentation. So how do you facilitate that you get to that point? This is the period for you to ask yourself, how am I going to become self-conscious of my Creator? This is the question you need to ask now. Then also remember that during Ramadan, the Prophet ﷺ said, anyone who provides the person who is fasting something to break his fast, he gets the same reward as the one who has fasted. And the one who fasted will never lose anything out of his reward. Now the question is, if by assisting you to break your fast, this is the reward Allah is going to give to me, then what is the reward that I'll get if I am in a position to assist you to fast? It means that reward will be very, very enormous. That is why we need to encourage ourselves to be charitable during Ramadan. For some of us, we are very wasteful. So save some of the money now, so that in Ramadan, if you are able to even buy a bag of sachet water which has 30 pieces, I'm told it's around 9 cedi, some is 7 cedi, depending on the one you are buying, whether it is FDA approved or not. I don't want to mention any brand's name, but you know, those who come around and they supply, some are 10 cedi, some are 9, some are 7 cedi, depending on which one you want to buy. So let's say you are even buying the most expensive one, which is 9 or 10 cedis, and you are giving it to 30 people to break their fast. You can imagine the reward you are going to get. Maybe you buy dates, pieces of dates, and take it to the masjid for people to break their fast with. You can imagine what reward you get at the end of the day. And some people are so selfish that they have heard about this, and anytime they want to be the only people who provide water, dates, and other things for the people to break their fast. They don't want others to do it. That is no good. The Prophet said, you can never be a believer unless you wish for your brother what you wish for yourself. So if you want to get that reward, why don't you even rotate? Okay, today I'll buy it, tomorrow you bring it, then the next day another person will bring it, then the fourth day I'll bring it, so that we all share in the sawab. So manyame non wo ke fata heji isane wole yinto he wona ka hiyo ma nyumbo ke o nyameni nya hiyo nyumbo nya hiyo nyumbo efi ma hiloti ha nyeta ka efi loti ha meni chomo nya hi bona afi ni nyena nyumbo gbe ishemu wo ma hile yinto poteni yo seji ni wo ba na nyumbo gbe ishemu chi ye enese nikase mo kroko me hu ye ni wona ye ma hile kenyumbo egbe ko ni we wala me ni wo pe wo ba kwe ne keni kase mo na eko chinyumo ke bona afi ni wona nyumo gbe ishemu wo me ne jinyumo gbe ishemu to ba afi to wona nyumo gbe ishemu ke je ne ke be ne ke ya shi be mi ni wo ba bote ma hin le mi ni sa ke min ke wo bi wo hia ke te wo ba afi ten wona ne ke nyumo gbe ishemu ne bona afi ni ke wa bote Ramadan nyom ni woni wo jile ko balo ke wo ake keji ohamoko noko ni ke gbele ina moni hima ohale noko ni ke gbele ina oye jo motamo moni hima no ohale noko ni ke gbele ina pepepe ni jo mo aji ikuyem wonke ke ohamo noko ni ke gbele ina ni jo mo so na ba ha bone be keji olemoko hu ni ke hima mini ji jo mo poten lo ba ni twa ke jo mo ifana akpa ene wo ke wanye no kokura wo fe ke sachet water wo he kotoku komelo bag kome wo kete mazide depending on tonemi no he ke ake ipapa ni meni FDA ekwemi lo meni fio ya mese atwumi ni mokobe ni nkwa ameno ekojuwe shiko hin ba fe 637 do wanyo na eko o hin 910 do wanyo na ipapa eko inchi ekota shin ohenu nepo no kete n'eshe be ni me ba gbele amena ni me lo nu neko amekulo eko na me ke gbele amena o ye jomo ekwe bo ho hi ametro bi date ni me ke gbele amena lo ekwe o fe ni fiu ye shia no keba o baja o ha me ye masjid boda afi ko ni ama amena noko na me ke gbele amena jomo ni yo ke ha boni ame ya balaka wo te me ko me tumo hi kon ni ano ona won smoni wo pe wona jomo won we ni me kroku me hu ye ni ba afiko be dagbe mi nke ba ke le lo sumo nya mi gba lo ke onyo otwo heyeli lo ja osumo ho nya mi no sumo ke ho he no sumo ni bu na kan jomo hwe ke ho nya mi ake le hu ba anya na ko wanyo ka ko mene mi nke nu ba ba bonko so ba anya ni ke a metro bia ba alo mene ke nke ba ko ni wo bu hu ke ba ko ni wo mene hu ke ba ke gbini ji edu e ke nsa nke ba ko ke won to na kan ke wo fen wo na jomo eko e won ke bia me na di be ni isake wo ke shikato ke ha ikpakpa fe mu ejuno fe mu ye Ramadan agbene keji otu ono fe umura hu eja ke gbalo Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam eke wa ke kemuku fe umura ye Ramadan nyomi eye jomo tamomoko ni efi hajj eye jomo tamomoko ni efi hajj wona ke bie memia hu ka shi waji Ramadan shishin do ba bon ohina abo amo ba bon isamo keji oyeni namo ni ba anye ke boaya no afi umra no ba ke osumo no ba afi clean gbi nyuma minju bi nyuma ni ji enyo minju na gbi nyuma aju umra fe mo le gbi ko me pepo agbena dia ke do jo to afi 10 days shibodencho o shedo ke bonu otawo ni ohinshu ha agbene ke fata he ne ke be ne ni sani o adjust o be no ke wo bona afi ni na ya buti Ramadan mi o ba kan shimlan no nyote shimlan ke ha solimo ne ke be ne ni o ba to ne me fin ahigbejiano dani ke obote mi ole noni o ba fi agbene no kome ji wo bomode ni wekuto pa ni eche lo efitie wo ba sa eja ke ka buti Ramadan mi je ni mi pente shimanke ne min shipe sanama chenga me ke mbi je me pe intishi min kan Quran sanama chegbe kan bi na me ono na amele Quran me amekane ne ke beji be mi ni wekuto pa ake momi ujugba bona fi ni kabala ake weku efa etehi ne ashifa yese. So the other thing we have to do is to this is the time we have to prepare, save money if we so wish to perform Umrah during Ramadan, because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said anyone who perform Umrah in Ramadan will get the reward of someone who has performed Hajj. So I said you can do it in the first 10 days, it does not matter. In the second 10 days, it doesn't matter. In the last 10 days, it doesn't matter. As a matter of fact, Umrah is just a one-day event so far as you get to Makkah. So you can decide as to when you want to do it and then do it. I said this is also the time for us to adjust our sleeping routine. You know, you have to sleep early, so you wake up early, you recite the Quran at dawn, you perform your Qiyamul Layl, then you take your suhoor, that is the pre-dawn meal, and so on. So you have to adjust yourself now, so that when you get into Ramadan, you'll be used to that routine, that time, that system. Again, this is the time for us to maintain the ties of kinship. I don't have to wake up at dawn, I recite the Quran, I perform my tahajjud whilst my wives and children are sleeping, then I leave them behind. No, this is the time for us to bond as a family. We have to start now before we enter into the month of Ramadan, so that when we enter into the month of Ramadan, we know we already do it and we can continue to do it. This is also the time for us to find righteous companions who will be with us during Ramadan, because a chain is as strong as its weakest point. If those that I associate myself with are people who are not righteous, who do not even know the religion, what influence are these people going to have on me during Ramadan? And then we have to acquire good character now, so that we can exhibit those things during Ramadan. So manyeme wobe efen ita shin lololue bi aboni obote ku Ramadan mi dua wake Allahumma baligna Ramadan nyumbo hani woboti Ramadan mi lo Ramadan abani na wo ba kan ni wo fi ne ken Solomon ke heno kamake nyumbo ba hani Ramadan ebani na wo ni wo fi wo yin ake afi ne Ramadan wo ba na jo moyemi fi Ramadan fe ni wo fi janyi sa afi le wo ke me ko me je shishin ni wo wi ne amegboyi wo wo se ku e wo gboyi ine ba anya fi wo na di Ramadan wo fi lo jugba ko ni jo mo ni yo mi ma ha wo nyu we hani Ramadan ba na wo e wo gbomo twi wale ni wo ko ba himma shika he wale ni wo ko ba himma ke himo ke ili ke ni chon papa ni ba fi le baba. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.